beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. So today's video, I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. So basically what had happened was I had gotten into a bit of a manic episode and was severely craving some food from my favorite Colombian restaurant. However, that place is so far and difficult to get to, and yeah, it was also very, very expensive. So I decided, hey, I can do this at home, knowing I know nothing about actually cooking Colombian food, but I was just going off of tastes and remembering exactly what everything tastes like and kind of just tossing together what seasonings I had that I know resembles that taste. So my favorite meal to eat is the grilled chicken with the grilled steak that they have. But I didn't have any steak on hand. I did have these pork chops that I was trying to use up. So I decided to do grilled chicken and pork chops. I mean, it sounds like a weird combination, but it kind of like really worked. So basically what I'm doing now is I have cleaned both my pork chops and my chicken. These are very thinly cut chicken breasts as well as very thinly cut pork chops. And I'm just seasoning all of those with a variety of things. I'm showing you each one individually as I'm going. The only thing is that the last thing that I'm adding in the yellow container is adobo. The container for my adobo burst, so I had to save my seasoning and put the rest of it in another container. And that's like literally the only empty container that I had lying around that wouldn't have confused me when I was trying to season other things. So the last thing, this one right here, the yellow container, that's what I use. That's adobo. So I'm just mixing all of the seasonings and coating both meats very, very well in everything. And I'm going to go ahead and let that rest for a little bit of time while I work on everything else. So here's everything all seasoned, and now I'm going to go ahead and work on my rice. Yes, I did only put onions in the pork chops instead of the chicken because the pork chops, I decided to kind of stew them after I grill them. Well, not really grill them, but like I pan fried them. And so when I stew meat, I like to put onion in there because it cooks down and it just makes for a great like sauteed onion. So I wash my rice. I know that's controversial. Some people don't, but like, I don't know. I have to wash my rice as well as all of my meat that I use. It's just, that's how I grew up. So I'm just washing my rice. I wish I could give you guys measurements because I hear all the time, like, people don't know how to properly cook rice, like, by eye. I've been doing it so long, I just know, but I will figure out one day to actually measure things out. Like, look how ghetto. I literally used a bowl to put the water in. I'm sorry. That's just, I know how to eyeball it to where it becomes perfect every time. But I will figure it out, guys. I will figure out measurement-wise how much I use exactly so that I can share that with you and teach everybody who doesn't know how to make some rice. So now I'm getting started on my beans. So what I do is I finely chop one whole onion, and I'm also going to chop up some bacon. That's optional. I've seen people use Vienna sausage for this too, but I don't ever have that, because if there's one thing on this earth that I completely despise and refuse to use, is Vienna sausage. So I use bacon when I do this. I just finely chop both the onion and the bacon, and I let those saute up a little bit before I start adding everything else in. So to my onions and bacon, I also added in some garlic and let that cook up a little bit. And then now I'm just adding in all of my seasonings. So obviously some sofrito and onion powder, garlic powder, and all the other various seasonings that I'm showing you. I don't feel I have to go through all of them because you can see very clearly. I do add one whole can of tomato sauce as well. And then I kind of just mix that until it looks a little bit pasty and let that cook up a little bit, just to get the flavors mixed together very well. And I do that before I add in my beans. After it's cooked up to a thicker consistency, that's when I add in my beans. So this is what they look like once everything is combined, and I just kind of let that sit on low until everything is done. It shouldn't really cook up too much because they're already cooked beans, but you just want those flavors to kind of mix together better. So I moved that to another burner, and then I started my pan on this burner. I'm just sauteing my pork chops now with just a very little bit of oil, cooking them on both sides. So now to that same oil, I'm just adding in my onions that were just chopped, and I'm also adding in a whole can of tomato sauce to that and mixing that together. Once that is kind of cooked down just a very little bit, I'm also going to add in some water. I also don't measure this. I kind of just use that bowl that I season the pork chops with and fill that with water, kind of trying to get the rest of that seasoning out of the bowl. And I pour that directly in there and then place the pork chops in individually, cover the whole thing, and cook that on medium until it stews down, just until the pork chops are tender, and so are the onions. So now over to my chicken breasts. What I initially did was take out my waffle iron, which also has a grill plate to it, and decided to try to grill them on this. However, and I don't usually share too many fails on this channel because I don't usually have that many fails, but they did not cook very well at all on this because they were so thin that they couldn't even touch the grill plates. So in turn, I decided to go ahead and try to air fry them, which that made them turn out so perfect, and I'm definitely not mad at it, and I will definitely be doing that again. Some air fried, thinly cut chicken breasts. It was amazing. So to cook these, I basically just put my air fryer on 350 and I cooked them for 7 minutes on each side. Obviously, you do the 7 minutes and then you flip them over and then you put them back in for 7 minutes. So to go along with this, I also just did some of these sweet plantains. This was very easy. I know how to make by scratch, but I didn't feel like it because I made it so much food. I mean, if you see like literally all of this. This was enough though that it lasted us like 3 dinners. So I didn't have to cook for 3 nights, but it was amazing. And yeah, I won't be doing this again anytime soon, hopefully, but it was dinner. And I thank you guys so much for being here, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye, everybody.